Mythos, power. It's all kind of bizarre. One of the things that I got lucky with Mythos, it's 5,000 years old. There's no way of playing that. What I opted for was to try and give the sense that he was very kind of low-key and just said stuff, stuff about, yeah, I've been on stage with Caesar and the Rolling Stones. It's no big deal. I wanted to suggest that he was saying things, but he was also not saying a whole load of other stuff. That there was just so much history that he had that all the details were kind of casual and trivial and not that big a deal.
So have you
made any sense of it? Found any purpose?
well, you read minds too?
With Methos, we had no idea what we had. And then Peter showed up. And he played the intense scenes with incredible intensity. He played the human scenes with incredible humanity. And he played the funny scenes like a comedian. And once we saw this guy, we said, God, we got to keep writing for him, because writers like to write for people who they think can really act. They don't like to write for lame people who deliver wood on camera. Methos was never wood. Peter was never wood. He always acted. He was always wonderful. He didn't do a bad episode for us.
I tried to not play anything very intensely, which then left him open as a character that, as things developed, both on the page and between the rest of the cast and me, you could actually bring in lots of things, because I hadn't defined him.
Have a beer. Mi casa re su casa.
It's one of the things about TV. You don't start playing the character knowing all the information. There is a sketch, there's a suggestion of who the character is and where the character might go if you get picked up for the second season.
As a human being, he was also always so pleased with the part, because the character was one that kept surprising us. And the reason it was a character that kept surprising us was because the actor could play everything we wrote for him. And that's such an enormous pleasure to write, when you can really write for someone who can play everything. And Peter Wingfield is one of those guys.
The first time we see him in the Methos episode, he's a very ordinary kind of guy. And you can see how he's survived all this time. He's very unobtrusive. Then Callus finds him and they fight, and Methos manages to get away, but he is convinced that Callus is going to take his head, and he decides that he, Methos, will sacrifice himself to Duncan MacLeod.
What are you waiting for, MacLeod? No!
Yeah, it's a strange thing for him to do, isn't it? I mean, in retrospect, you kind of look back and you think, did he really mean it, or was it a very high-risk gamble? I mean, at the time when I was playing it, when I was first given the script, I absolutely assumed that he meant it, that he was willing to sacrifice his life. My rationale was that this guy's been around for thousands and thousands of years. He's seen and done everything, as we later learn. But yet he's been invisible. He's disappeared for a long time. And I just thought maybe he's just bored and tired. Maybe he's just had enough, that he was ready to go. That it made sense this time. Okay, if I'm going, let's give my spirit, my essence, my experience to MacLeod, because he is the great hero figure. After a couple of years of playing the character, I now look back at it and I think, wow, yeah, there is always that way of looking at it, but...
it's good to be a myth.
Yeah, no one hunts for a myth or a watcher.
What better place to hide?
I never believed anything else that he did was as simple and clear as that. He's a watcher. He knows about all the immortals. He knows their stories. He knows their predilections, their strengths and weaknesses. He would know MacLeod very well. he would know MacLeod wasn't going to do it. So I don't know. And that's what made him such a great character, is that I never trusted him. I never knew what he meant. I never knew how serious he was about anything.
Live, Highlander. Grow stronger. Fight another day.
The piece of music for the Methos episode, yeah, Racing with the Devil. Well, Keith and I have known each other for years, and we had actually worked on another song for a previous season of Highlander. So I think we talked about this episode and that it'd be really great to have a song to go through all this motorcycle stuff. And so I called Keith up, and he was home from the road for a while, and a couple weeks, and he said, yeah, he'd love to do it. It was a really tight turnaround. We weren't actually going to be able to see the pictures before he could write this, so I told him basically what we needed and the kind of thing, and he sent a tape over like 2 days later, and I listened to it and said, wow, this is great. I had a few comments, timing-wise really, about taking out a couple of choruses and things, because I don't think it ran more than a minute and a half or so, and he had this great 4-minute song. If you ever had a chance to hear the whole 4-minute song, it really, really goes. So he delivered over this multi-track tape, which we took into the studio and mixed it, I think, the night before we were mixing the episode. And I think it laid in there really beautifully, and it really worked aggressively with the motorcycle sounds and that sort of thing. That was a lot of fun.
My first connection with Highlander, I got sent these pages for an audition. My agent said, you know, they're shooting in Paris, a couple of days work. Do you have any interest in it? I looked at it, I had no idea what it was about. It just didn't make any sense. There was some crazy nonsense about sacrificing my head, having my head chopped off, and some other garbage about being on stage with Caesar and then on stage with the Rolling Stones. I didn't know what any of it meant. I had absolutely no clue.
I cannot beat him. I have tried. He will take my head, and then he will have the strength to take yours.
So after 5,000 years, your only solution is that I kill you?
He can beat me. He might beat you. He can't beat both of us.
Got the job, went out there, filmed that stuff under the bridge in Paris with all the smoke. This guy, Adrian Paul, didn't know who he was, meant nothing to me. Came over, introduced himself. He seemed to be wearing a sleeping bag. It was all kind of bizarre.
Why?
Because I didn't know if you could beat him. It's a chance I couldn't take. Remember, Highlander, live, grow stronger. Fight another day.
I now look back at it, and it's changed my life so profoundly. I mean, I now live 5,000 miles away. I have a child who will grow up with an accent that is completely unrelated to my own at the bottom of a mountain where we will go snowboarding, next to the ocean where the orcas swim by every year. And my acting, my craft is so totally altered by my work, my experience on Highlander, the places I've had to go with the character of Methos. I'm profoundly changed by it. And I mean, it's this strange little show about immortality. And here I am 5 years after we shot the final episode, still talking about it. It's a show that will not die.